Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about HTTP. So Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So we all know about this protocol when we're surfing the web. So here we put in a web address or URL, Uniform Resource Locator, type it into our browser, and the web browser establishes a connection with the web service running at the other end, and we download all the necessary information to view the web page in our web browser. Okay, so web browsers. Browsers are used to interpret and present many types of data, including the HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, which is the language in which web pages are constructed. Other types of data may include things like Flash, Adobe Acrobat Reader, Real Audio, and many others to listen to sounds or music or to do video or whatever the case might be. Okay, so HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. This is the language for creating web pages, and which is downloaded from the server along with other files into our side, our client, and viewed using our browser. This is the actual web page. And the web page consists of objects like the HTML file itself, JPEG images, Java applets, audio files, and all sorts of things. So we're going to take a quick look. I'm not going to go into a lot of details here, but I'm going to look at kind of the initial client-server messaging for HTTP. So when you type in a URL, and after, the first thing that happens is that TCP three-way handshake, right? We see that if we look in Wireshark, SYN, SYNAC, ACK. And then the next thing we'll see is from our side, the client side, doing HTTP GET. So this is actually a request message. This is your side, you requesting information from the web server and telling it exactly what you're looking for and some other information. This includes both request lines and some header lines. We'll look in a lot of detail, but I'll show you some of these. The request line, this is where we get something like the GET. So this is actually us requesting the web page. And other information includes the object, the directory where this object exists, the browser implementation, etc. There's also some header lines that things like what language does the user prefer to have this web page, if there is that option on the web server. Okay, so the request line we see here is a GET. Okay, this is where we are actually requesting the object, requesting the web page. There's other ones too. There's POST. We use that when we're filling out a form or something on a web page. There's head, put, delete. So there's other ones besides just the GET. Okay, the web server is going to respond with some kind of response message. All right, and it has status lines, header lines, and the actual body itself, the HTML and other objects. The status line, we can see there, it's HTTP 1.1, just says this is the version of HTTP the server is using. And then we get some kind of status code. Hopefully it's 200. That means everything is okay. Okay, there's other status codes besides 200, which means everything goes okay. It means that the request succeeded and the information is returned in the response. There could be a 301, which means, sorry, but this web page has been moved somewhere permanently. 400, bad request. 404, which is quite common. We may see that one at times. Hopefully it's not too common, but it means it was not found. And that might be something like you go to my college's website and you type in www.cabrillo.edu/ and then you give it some directory where you think an object exists and says, look, you found Cabrillo, but this page is not found, the one you're requesting. And it might actually give you some information, might even show you a page saying, hey, let me show you the main page, or here's an index, or some kind of help to help you look it up. Okay, so response messages, you can see some of the other information in this, including some date and time information when the object was created or modified, the length, and all kinds of good stuff. And ultimately, the HTML text and other objects as well. Okay, so we have an HTTP request and response. So there's the request and there's the response. So this is typically what you're going to see after the three-way handshake. You'll see the get, and then you'll see the response, and then you'll start getting a whole bunch of packets with the rest of the with the web objects, HTML code, JPEGs, or whatever it might be. Okay, there's also HTTPS. This is secure HTTP, uses port 443. This is what we use when we want to authenticate and encrypt information between us and the server. And it's used for, it's encrypted using secure socket layer. And it's used quite commonly with shopping sites, going to Amazon, and you can even install it in your browser. Like I do with Chrome, that everything I use tries to use HTTPS, even when I'm not shopping and it's not sending secure information. By the way, just really quick, how this kind of works. If I can, let me kind of do a little demo here. Let's see here. Not done yet? Hold on, let me do a little demo here for you. Okay, so the way this kind of works is we have the client machine over here, right? And we have the server over here, let's say, okay? So look, client, server. And the way this works, and I'm just really oversimplifying this, is the client says, I want to communicate with you, and the server says, okay, but we're going to do this over HTTPS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a box, and it's going to be open. So that's supposed to be open there. And I'm going to send you a lock, but the lock is open. Okay, so it sends that back to the client. Okay, the client does not know the combination to this lock, only the server does. So the client can then take this box, put in its web card information. So there we go, all that secret information goes inside the box. It gets shut, and the lock then gets closed. Secures this box. The client can no longer even open this box, and it gets sent back to the server, and the server who knows the combination can then unlock it and process the information. It's a bit of an oversimplification, but that's basically how it works. Okay, so I hope that helps introduce a little bit about the HTTP protocol.